Hey everyone, I'm the 13th Wolfman. You know what? Today is day 26 of the 31 days of Halloween. What have I got in store for you to watch today? Or what have I watched today? Well, I watched a nice little early 2000s movie that came out around the same time Cabin Fever and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake, came out. And that is Wrong Turn. Yeah, Wrong Turn. This is a very, very, very cool movie. One of my favorite all-time movies is The Hills Have Eyes, the 1977 Wes Craven film. And a lot of people say that this is probably a knockoff of that movie. You know, it's like, oh, it takes place in the woods and crazy cannibals. And it's like, in a way, I can see that. But, I mean, if you want to get down to semantics, you know, it's like The Hills Have Eyes took place in the desert. This one takes place in the woods. You know, the characters in The Hills Have Eyes are more scavengers. These are like hunters. I mean, they're living off what they capture, you know. So, all that being said, I love this movie. I mean, I love The Hills Have Eyes. I love the remake of The Hills Have Eyes, and I love Wrong Turn. In fact, I have all 6 Wrong Turn movies. I like the franchise that much. This is a cool movie. You got Desmond Harrington. You've got Elijah Dushku, Lindy Booth, Emmanuel Shrieky. Oh, she's so cute. Who's the other guy? Julian Richins, who plays one of the cannibalistic crazy people, and Jeremy Sisto, who I remember when I saw this movie when it came out around 2003. I remember thinking, okay, Jeremy Sisto is going to be the breakout star of this movie. You know, this is going to be the one that catapults him into the next realm. It didn't really happen. I was really kind of surprised. I mean, I was kind of surprised that none of these people, I mean, Elijah Dushku was already kind of known, you know, so I was kind of surprised that, like, Lindy Booth and Emmanuel Shrieky and all these others didn't really get catapulted off this. I mean, they've made movies, but their names aren't as cemented into, you know, the world as they should be, especially Emmanuel Shrieky. My God. So the story is, when it comes down to this movie, is that this guy who's got to make it he's got to make it to Raleigh, North Carolina, by 7 o'clock in order to interview for a job. He's a doctor, or he's going to be a doctor. I mean, I'm not quite. I think he's a doctor, and he's going to go down there and join some clinic or something like that. But the main highway is out. So he goes back and he finds this bare mountain road. And he's like, okay, well, I'll go down this road. And it cuts back onto the main highway, you know, like 20 miles down. So while he's driving down that way, he's distracted by his CD player. He's distracted by this dead deer on the side of the road. He's distracted. He looks up and he slams into the back end of a car where a bunch of other young adults, you know, Elijah Dushku, Lindy Booth, Emmanuel Shrieky, Jeremy Sisto, are all out in the woods for a good time. They want to do some camping to get Elijah Dushku's mind off the breakup of her boyfriend. Okay, well, he slams into their car, and he's like, well, why are you parked in the middle of the road? And they're like, well, we blew our tire out. It's all, like, wrapped up in barbed wire. So it was set as a trap. And it's just kind of like you're both screwed because his Mustang isn't going anywhere. They got no tires, you know, so they're stuck trying to find help, and what they find is trouble. You know, 3 cannibalistic brothers, One Eye, Sawtooth, and Three Finger. And along the way, bad things happen. Very, very bad things happen. But I like this movie. I like everything about this movie. This was directed by Rob Schmidt, another name who I believe should be just as well known as some other early directors of the 2000s. You know, Eli Roth and others. You know, but it's not. I'm kind of surprised. I'm surprised that this movie is not really expanded careers, but more or less suppressed them. I like this movie a lot. This was a custom card that came with the Blu-ray when you bought it. You know, behind this card it's just the regular cover. But yeah, I love everything about this. This is a good movie. I highly recommend this movie. And if you haven't, if you want to see the good ones, right? Honestly, it's like, okay, I have the entire series, and there's like one clunker or bad movie in the entire, and that's part 5. Other than that, I like the rest of the movies. I mean, but you got to realize that after it's either part 2 or part 3. I'm trying to remember. One of them, they basically kill off Three Finger, One Eye, and Sawtooth. And then the next movie, you're like, okay, well, how can they be alive? Well, it's now, the next movie is like 20 years earlier or something like that. You know, it's now them as teenagers, and you know, you kind of learn where they come from. So from that point on, the movies start at that point and go on up. So you're kind of like watching the ending, you know, with Wrong Turn and Wrong Turn 2. It's like you're watching how they die, you know, if that makes any sense. It's just kind of weird. With that, of course, I'm the 13th Wolfman, and of course, I'm on the prowl. Check out the slideshow.